The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus spoke to his disciples, "There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations, confused by the roaring of the sea and of the waves. People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Be on guard, so that your hearts are not weighted down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that they catch you unexpectedly like a trap. For it will come upon all who live on the face of the whole earth. Be alert at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all these things that will take place and to stand before the Son of Man." The Gospel of the Lord. So today a new year is beginning for us. Not a civil year, a liturgical year. We are starting with the first Sunday of Advent. We have set up a wreath to remind us, to show us the 4 weeks, the 4 Sundays, more than the 4 weeks, before the big celebration of Christmas, and we are preparing for that. And just like in any beginning, there is a look on the past, to look at the future. If we take, for example, in the civil year, whether it's from the Romans or from us today, we have that month of January. And the month of January is named after the Roman god Janus. And Janus is portrayed to have 2 faces, one at the front and one at the back, because Janus looks at the past and looks at the future. Similarly, we do that at the beginning of this new liturgical year. This season of Advent is there to prepare us for the future. And by the future, I'm not talking about Christmas in a couple of weeks. I'm talking about what we heard in today's gospel, the return of Christ at the end of the time. That of what we were talking about in the past couple of Sundays. The return of Jesus in glory. That is the whole of our life, to be prepared for that return. And this time of Advent is set aside for us to prepare for that. The time of Lent, before Easter, will be there to remind us that we have to do sacrifices, that we always should do a little more to unite ourselves with Jesus who died on the cross for us. The time of Advent is there to make us focus on the end goal. To look at our past, decide of our future, and work on it from there. If I can get just a little comparison, it would be like this woman who sat in a restaurant, a young woman, and she used her cell phone to make a call. And there was an older woman at a table not too far from her that could hear everything of the conversation. So the young woman was saying on the phone, "I'm calling about that job opening that you have. I'd be interested." And of course, the older woman doesn't hear back the answers from the other end of the call, but the young woman says, "Oh, you have hired someone 2 weeks ago. And thank you for everything. Have a good day. And the older woman came to her and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I overheard your conversation. I'm sorry you didn't get that job." And the young woman would answered back, It's no problem. I'm the one he hired 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to make sure that everything is going good, that he likes the work that I'm doing. And that's how I got to find out. If we could do the same kind of call to God, to hear how we are doing, would he be saying to us what St. Paul tells to the Thessalonians, that they are doing what they have to do? That they are doing what he has taught them to do? Would we get that invitation from God, like St. Paul gave to the Thessalonians, to increase and abound in love for one another? To continue on, but to put a little more efforts, to keep our eyes focused, not to go down the path of forgetting about the end goal, not going down the path of just worrying about this life, like Jesus asks his disciples to be looking at. And so, as we enter into this time of Advent, preparing, yes, for Christmas, let us see the whole picture. Let us look at the big picture and realize that our time of preparation is more importantly focused on our encounter with God at the end of our day or at the end of the world. And to make it so that we prepare ourselves to be ready for that time, so that whatever happens, whatever trials we face, whether in our own life or through our society and the whole world, that we are not stressed by these trials, but that we have our eyes fixed on Jesus, ready to welcome him, standing there and ready to be with him in glory.